Showroom now located on Route 8 in Mighty. IP&E Fueling Excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dededo. Always open, always local.
Ahead on Primetime, could recreational marijuana be a thing on Guam? A freshman senator introduces a bill to legalize adult-use marijuana. Nestor Lecanto details the legislation. Plus, the Catholic Church is in the District Court of Guam regarding its bankruptcy case in connection to the clergy sex abuse lawsuits. And getting into shape, Carmen Chalahi has the very latest from the post-commission meeting now that the new fitness standards are in place for our law enforcement agencies. Half a day and good evening. Guahu Sinek Delgado. Well, a bill to legalize adult-use marijuana has been introduced by Senator Clint Rigel. And while medicinal cannabis law has been on the books for more than 4 years with little to show for it, Rigel is optimistic his measure won't face the same pitfalls. Nestor Lecanto reports.
The freshman Democrat is calling his first bill the Guam Cannabis Industry Act of 2019, which he patterned after existing laws in the states.
It's going to create a brand new industry for the island. It'll create new jobs for the island and new revenues for the government of Guam, something that we've definitely been looking for.
He says the industry will be governed by a cannabis control board, similar to how the alcohol industry is regulated.
It's almost similar to like how you have a business license, but you also have to have a liquor license. So you'd have to have a business license and a cannabis license for whatever type of cannabis business you're planning on doing.
Voters passed the medicinal marijuana law in a 2014 referendum, but because of red tape and regulatory costs, it has yet to get off the ground. Rigel says there's a couple of key differences with adult use marijuana. It's a much bigger market, and you won't need a doctor's prescription to buy it.
With the lab component, we remove sort of the stumbling blocks because we're opening up a larger market that will entice more investors to come here because it's a larger market share that they can invest in to stand up a lab here.
And for critics who say legalizing marijuana will bring in bad influences?
We have lots of data from Colorado that we'll be sharing later on that shows that it has not increased crime, it has not increased usage among the youth. So there's a lot of good data that shows that that's simply not the case.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Thanks, Nestor. Case dismissed without prejudice. 2 people accused in the largest cocaine bust on Guam are off the hook for now. Judge Michael Berdalio granting the motion to dismiss the local drug charges against Jimmy Afison and Robert Afison. The pair faced charges in connection to the 35 pounds of cocaine that apparently washed ashore last year. Nearly a dozen people were placed under arrest following multiple drug raids last May. Both Afisons are still facing drug charges in the District Court of Guam. Carl Uggan, Danby Rojas, George Flores, John Tanatongo, Jonathan Manglotnia, Monica Kinata, Nicholas Frederick, and Randall Fulcher Jr. have also been charged. Remaining defendants are scheduled to be back in court on February 21st. A man accused of sexually assaulting a woman known to him is released from prison pending trial. Jimmy Moses Hadley is facing charges of 2 counts of 3rd and 4th degree criminal sexual conduct, strangulation, and assault with intent to commit criminal sexual conduct. He allegedly pinned down and raped the victim last December. The judge granting his release from custody today. He will be back in court next week when jury selection for trial is scheduled to begin. You may recall Hadley once stood accused in the 27 murder at the prison. He's also charged with commission of a felony while on felony release for 2 separate cases. The multi-million-dollar settlement case involving the Catholic Church is moving forward in the District Court of Guam. This despite lingering concern over the impacts from the federal government shutdown. Here's more on today's discussion from inside federal court. Archbishop Michael Burns walks out of the District Court of Guam Thursday morning. Talks are ongoing in the settlement for more than 200 victims in the clergy sexual abuse case on Guam, and plans in hopes to resolve the church's recent filing for Chapter 11 reorganization bankruptcy. Chief Judge Francis Tedinko Gatewood was given a status update from the parties involved. She expressed concern over a couple of pending motions before the court. Attorney John Chalahi represents the Archdiocese of Agana.
One was our application to hire an insurance specialist firm. They're out of New York City. So she was concerned with some of the rates that were being proposed, as they were obviously New York and Guam, the rates are much different. We're going to have Mr. Murray explain it to the court himself at the next hearing.
The second concern,
continuation of the utility payments. There was just one line that was missing. It needed to be completed, so we're going to resubmit that motion to continue the payments of the utilities for the archdiocese.
The church has since reported $22.9 million in assets and $45.6 million in liabilities, which includes the sex abuse lawsuits. But brought up again from General Attorney Curtis Chang from the U.S. Trustee Program was a concern over the federal government shutdown and how that could delay the process. The U.S. Trustee Program is needed in the next steps for bankruptcy. As reported, they appoint the Creditors Committee of Abuse Claimants, who will then be entitled to hire their own bankruptcy lawyer. Ching told the court via video conference that some uncertainty remains, but that they are looking forward to meeting in March with creditors so they can get the case to progress. Meantime, parties are not going to sit back and wait to find out if the government will shut down again.
Hopefully they don't close it, but they're still moving forward. The trustees moving forward, setting up the committee for this bankruptcy. We'll see how it goes.
Judge Gatewood concluded the hearing stating, quote, "Let's pray that will still be in business after the 15th. A campaign promised to put more police on the streets. Leaders in public safety met Wednesday to talk of challenges to recruiting and retaining officers. This comes as they gear up to implement the law that requires all patrol pass a more difficult physical fitness test. Carmen Chalahi has the story.
Taking a break from patrolling the streets, the leads of Guam's public safety want to cut some of the strings between the legislature and the Post Commission to allow the Peace Officers Standards and Training Commission pass their own policies.
One of the things that we had requested with the 34th Guam legislature was the ability for autonomy. If we could be considered to be granted autonomy so that we can essentially govern ourselves.
Freshman Senator and Public Safety Oversight Chair Jose Pito Terlahi attended the meeting and says he'll listen to their request. But the former law enforcement officer's top priority is to keep Governor Lulian Guerrero's campaign promise and place 100 new police on the force.
Because the problem is easier said than done to get police officers in there.
The Post-Commission meeting at GCC Thursday is the first since the passing of the law that requires officers pass a more challenging physical fitness test. GPD Chief of Police Steve Ignacio.
The PT requirements now is a obstacle course or a physical agility test. So it's very different from the old 2.1 version, which was just 3 basic things: was a run, push-ups, and sit-ups.
Implementation will take time, but will the new physical requirements deter potential recruits?
Absolutely not. I think, it sets a standard. No, I think what we're, and the Department of Corrections and the Guam Police Department are facing right now is the challenge of the English proficiency requirement.
Ignacio says it's the college-level English prerequisite that poses a new challenge for much-needed boots at both DOC and GPD. DOC Director Samantha Brennan.
Absolutely. Manpower is definitely an issue. As I said previously, we have 177 officers. We should have at least 300 officers.
We know that we're recruiting 30, and so, we're slowly chipping away at it. And like I said, it's just a matter of getting enough applicants in the door and making sure we can have enough applicants to fill those positions.
Reporting for Guam News Network, I'm Carmen Victoria Terlahi.
Thanks, Carmel. 3 more cabinet members are named under the new administration, this time over the Guam Visitors Bureau and the Commission on Decolonization. Pilar Laguatnia, who's currently the head of GVB's global marketing team, has been selected to serve as the new GVB president and CEO. She's been with the agency since 1977. Robert Alvarez has been tapped to be GVB's vice president. Governor Lulian Guerrero stating, quote, "I am confident in their abilities to bring the island's leading industry to the next level." Also, Melvin Wampat Borja has been picked to serve as executive director of the Commission on Decolonization. The governor stating he has been a voice in the discussion for political status for many years. He's also a longtime teacher with the skill sets we need to educate the people of Guam on their options as we push forward in our journey towards self-determination. Well, stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
We value relationships because when we commit,
I love you guys until you're 80, until you're 90, until you're 100, forever.
We are in it for the long run, so you can enjoy the moments that matter. Because because when we commit to relationships, we never stop caring. Calvo's Select Care, health care that is always there for you.
The great thing about technology isn't about how big, fast, or clever it is.
It's about delivering connections that empower people to achieve things. Try them for the first time.
Connect with others. Or even rediscover the world around us. It's your world. Explore it.
MTO, professional janitorial services with a warm hospitality touch. MTO gives that gift year-round. Pressure wash roofs, pressure wash driveways, lawn service, home cleaning, carpet restoration, office cleaning, commercial window cleaning, floor care. When cleaning is in order, MTO has you covered. Call 647-6861 to inquire on how you can receive the maintenance you deserve.
MTO, celebrating 30 years with you, Guam.
Chuck E. Cheese's Guam is not all fun and games. Our pizza is delicious with the freshest toppings, oven baked to order. Try the fresh salad bar, sandwiches, and don't forget our mouth-watering wings. Come and eat at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam.
Welcome back. The number of Guam's homeless population is slightly more than last year. Preliminary data from the 2019 point-in-time homeless count report shows that there's 873 homeless on Guam. That's 30 people more than last year's 854-person count. Of that number, 765 are living unsheltered, meaning their primary nighttime residence is a public or private place not designed for sleeping. About 100 homeless are staying in temporary living spaces. The data collected from the survey includes gender, age, and veteran status and will be used by the Guam Homeless Coalition to implement programs to address and assist Guam's homeless population. Well, Guam is getting more money to help the homeless in our territory. $11.3 million is awarded to renew support for 26 previously funded homeless assistance programs in Hawaii and Guam. The territory getting just over $723,000 from that grant. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development announced the award this week. Officials say the funds provided through HUD's Continuum of Care program are part of the approximately $2 billion awarded to support 5,500 local programs nationwide on the front lines of serving individuals and families enduring homelessness. HUD Continuum of Care grant funding supports the broad array of interventions, officials say, to assist homeless individuals and families, particularly those living in places not meant for habitation, located in sheltering programs, or in imminent risks of becoming homeless. Well, not to ruin your appetite with this next story, but cockroaches spotted in the kitchen shut down Lee Garden restaurant in Dededo. A regular inspection was conducted after a complaint of food and unwashed dishes attracting pests. Though that complaint was not observed during inspection, officials did spot 8 live and 16 dead cockroaches scattered in the kitchen storage area, and rice cooking room. The report also notes a large amount of grease on cooking equipment, walls, floors, and vents. No employee health policy was in place to ensure sick employees do not handle food they serve to customers. In total, 30 demerits gave the facility a C rating, but due to the active roach infestation, a notice of closure was given and will remain in place until the restaurant passes re-inspection. SNAP recipients, careful with your spending. The Department of Public Health and Social Services shared the latest information regarding early issuance of the February 2019 SNAP benefits. Much of the concern over the program followed the recent federal government shutdown. Health officials saying those benefits have since been issued on January 20th. Now, this is your full benefit for the month of February and not an additional benefit. Recipients are encouraged to carefully spend the benefit to make sure it lasts until your next benefit is issued. Officials also note EBT cards will continue working in February, even if another government shutdown happens. However, it remains unclear if SNAP benefits for future months will be available. SNAP recipients who have any questions or concerns can call the Bureau of Economic Security within the Division of Public Welfare at 735-7432. Well, sports is next, but first, here's a look at your island weather.
something new this year when you buy a new Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, or Ram from Cars Plus and Mighty. Like a new Jeep Compass Sport, $175 for paycheck. Or a new Chrysler Pacifica LX, $213 for paycheck. Or save $10,500 on a new Ram 1500. How about a new Jeep Wrangler Sport? Only $309 for paycheck. Plus, receive a Cars Plus Shell Value Card with every vehicle purchase. So this year, start something new with a new Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, or Ram. Only at Cars Plus and Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. I have some Super Bowl 53 news to get to in just a bit. But first off, this week's Game Changer. Check it out. Nia Chamberlain shines bright on the diamond. The JFK senior is the team captain and starting catcher for the Islanders softball team. Nia was also part of the JFK team that went back-to-back winning titles, looking for a three-peat.
Being part of the JFK softball team, it really means a lot. We're all pretty much family here. We all look out for each other, even when the season's over or before the season begins. We all see each other in the hallway, say hi, and it's just knowing the fact that I have probably 30 other sisters out there on the field. With a few games rained out this season, the Islanders are off to a 1-0 start. Nia is all in on the field. She has been with the Islanders all 4 years of high school. As a freshman, she played outfield, and she played hardball with the boys too. Nia doesn't do anything halfway, and she invests a lot of emotion, time, and effort into her playing. Just working hard every single practice, every single game, not giving up no matter how hard things get. Even if I'm in the dugout almost crying, I'm still trying to get my morale up and asking the girls to help me out, and just so that I'm trying my hardest, and I know that no matter what, at the end of the game, I know I did my best.
Nia has rocked a perfect 4.0 grade point average during her time at JFK, and she has been in ROTC for the last 3 years. She's also traveled to Washington, D.C. with the ROTC program. Even though she's been rejected a few times by colleges, she works harder trying to realize her dream of becoming a civil engineer. And after persevering, Nia got into one of her dream schools, University of Hawaii at Manoa.
The UH has been my dream school ever since I can remember, mainly because it's fast-paced, but yet it's still like home. And when I got my acceptance letter, I got it here in school, and I opened it, and I went around the classroom jumping up and down, so excited. I was almost crying because of how excited I was.
Nia gives back to the community too, from Sugar Plum gift wrapping, coastal cleanups, volunteering at Island Girl Power, or donating to Erica's house. Nia makes sure she sets a good example. And when she's shining on the diamond, she thinks of her father.
Softball really started off with baseball. Before I even started elementary, my dad got me into the sport, and I wasn't really into it at first, but after he passed away in '09, it kind of became a thing to remember him by, and being on the field really reminds me of him, so it really helps whenever I have stressful days. So I just really love the sport because of my dad.
With the memory of her father held in her heart, Nia hits every challenge she faces out of the park. And that's what makes Nia Chamberlain a game changer. Now for some Super Bowl 53 news. Players answered questions from the media and fans during Media Day. The two quarterbacks leading their team on Monday, Tom Brady and Jared Goff. The two top receivers on both teams also in the spotlight, Julian Edelman and Brandon Cooks, chopping it up before the big game.
My very first ring, I won it. It was so cool because we beat the Rams and no one thought we could win that game. And we had a great celebration. And I love the Super Bowl ring. And every time I look at it, it reminds me of just all the guys on the team and all the hard work everyone put in.
Yeah, it's incredible. You know, everything he's done in his whole career is obviously, you know, remarkable. And it's tough to put into words, honestly. You know, it's to do it for this long, to come to this game 9 times now, it's so impressive, and a guy that I had looked up to throughout my whole childhood, and a guy that I, you know, still respect so greatly, and it'll be fun.
Have the mental capacity to get ready for the toughest game of the year. So, you know, it's definitely a little tough, but it's a good hour to get away and enjoy the experience, I guess. It's one of